Admiral James Walker stood at the window of his office in the United Earth Defense Council headquarters, watching the sunset paint Geneva's sky in shades of orange and purple. The peace of the moment shattered as his computer terminal flashed with an urgent message marked with the highest priority code. The message that appeared on his screen made his blood run cold. It was from the Galactic Council, the governing body of most known spacefaring races. Walker had to read it twice to fully grasp its meaning. To the leaders of Earth and its colonies, your species has been judged too dangerous to remain independent. You have 30 Earth days to submit to Council authority and accept our guidance. Refusal will result in immediate military action aimed at ensuring compliance. This decision is final. High Council of Galactic Civilizations. Walker's hand didn't shake as he pressed the emergency alert button. Years of military training kept his exterior calm, even as his mind raced through the implications. Within minutes, the council room filled with Earth's highest-ranking military and civilian leaders. "Ladies and gentlemen," Walker began, his voice steady, "the council has finally shown its true colors." He displayed the message on the room's main screen, watching as faces around the table hardened with determination rather than fear. General Thompson, a battle-hardened veteran of the Mars Uprising, spoke first. "They've always feared us. Ever since first contact 15 years ago, when our ships proved faster and more maneuverable than their so-called superior technology." He was right. When humanity first met alien life, everyone expected Earth to be centuries behind in technology. Instead, human engineers had taken one look at alien tech and immediately started improving it. Where alien ships were bulky and powerful, human vessels became sleek and agile. Where alien weapons focused on brute force, human weapons emphasized precision and efficiency. "They're especially angry about the Jenkins drive," added Dr. Anna Miller, head of Earth's research division. The faster-than-light drive, named after its inventor, had shocked the galactic community. Humans had achieved in 5 years what took other races centuries to develop. Walker nodded, remembering the Council's reaction when Earth started selling improved versions of their own technology back to them. "They call us aggressive and unpredictable," he said, "but what they really fear is our ability to adapt and innovate." The room fell silent as Director Roberts from Intelligence pulled up recent satellite data. "We've detected increased Council fleet activity near the Arcturus checkpoint. They're not waiting for our answer. They're already preparing for war." Walker felt a grim smile form on his face. "Then it's time to activate Protocol Phoenix." The words sent a ripple of anticipation through the room. For 10 years, Earth had been preparing for this possibility. While publicly maintaining a modest defense force, humanity had secretly built something much more significant. "Send the coded alert to all hidden bases," Walker ordered, "and contact Captain Stone on the Terran Dawn. Tell her to begin fleet activation procedures." As the orders went out, Walker returned to his window. The sun had set now, stars becoming visible in the darkening sky. Somewhere up there, the Council thought they were about to teach humanity a lesson in humility. Instead, they were about to learn why humans had survived countless disasters and emerged stronger each time. He thought about the massive shipyards hidden in asteroid belts, the advanced weapons platforms disguised as research stations, and the fleets of warships waiting in dimensional pocket space. Earth might look like an easy target, but appearances could be deceiving. "Send our official response to the Council," Walker commanded. "Tell them Earth humbly requests a 1-week extension to consider their generous offer." His eyes glinted with determination. "That should give us enough time to show them exactly what humanity is capable of." As the message was transmitted, Walker knew that the next few weeks would change the galaxy forever. Humanity had spent years preparing for this moment, and now it was time to show the Council why you should never corner a species that had survived and thrived against all odds for hundreds of thousands of years. The ultimatum had been delivered, but the Council was about to learn that some ultimatums come with unexpected consequences. Deep within the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, Captain Emily Stone walked through corridors that officially didn't exist. Her footsteps echoed against metal floors as she made her way to the command center of humanity's greatest secret, the Phoenix Fleet. The massive chamber carved into the heart of a hollowed-out asteroid buzzed with activity. Hundreds of crew members worked at their stations, preparing for the moment they had trained years for. Through the reinforced viewing windows, Stone could see her ship, the Terran Dawn, floating in the massive hidden dock. "Status report," she called out as she reached the central platform. The ship was a masterpiece of human engineering, sleek, deadly, and completely unknown to the Galactic Council. "All systems are green, Captain," replied First Officer Tom Richards. "The quantum drives are charged, and weapon systems are online. The rest of the fleet reports similar readiness levels." Stone nodded, studying the tactical display. Around the Terran Dawn, 20 other warships of various sizes floated in formation. This was just one of 12 such hidden bases scattered throughout the solar system. The Council thought they were dealing with a handful of outdated patrol ships. They had no idea about the true size of humanity's forces. "Message from Earth Command," announced the communications officer. "Admiral Walker confirms the Council took the bait. They believe we're scrambling in panic." Stone allowed herself a small smile. The Council's arrogance would be their downfall. While alien observers watched Earth's public shipyards launch a few token vessels, the real fleet was assembling in secret. "Show me the full tactical display," Stone ordered. The holographic projection expanded, revealing hundreds of green dots representing human ships hidden throughout the solar system. Some were concealed in dimensional pockets, others disguised as civilian vessels or mining operations. The Terran Dawn itself was humanity's greatest achievement. Its hull contained metals that absorbed scanning beams, making it nearly invisible to alien sensors. Its weapons used principles of physics the Council races hadn't even discovered yet. But most importantly, it carried the prototype of the Jenkins Mark Bio drive, a faster-than-light engine that could outmaneuver anything in known space. "Captain," Richards called out, "you should see this." He pulled up footage from their outer system sensors. A Council peacekeeping force had just emerged from hyperspace near Neptune. Their ships were massive, built to overwhelm with sheer size and power. "They're not even trying to hide their approach," Stone observed. "Count. 50 capital ships, about 200 support vessels," reported the sensor officer. "They're moving in a standard Council battle formation. No deviation from their usual tactics." Stone shook her head at their predictability. The Council races had been in power so long they'd forgotten how to innovate. They relied on the same strategies that had worked for centuries, never considering that a younger race might find ways to counter them. "All hands to battle stations," Stone commanded. "Begin power-up sequences, but maintain stealth protocols. Remember your training. We've rehearsed this countless times." Throughout the asteroid base, crews rushed to their ships. Engineers ran final checks on advanced weapon systems. Pilots climbed into fighters that could outmaneuver anything the Council had ever encountered. Stone took her place in the Terran Dawn's command chair, feeling the ship come to life around her. Years of preparation were about to pay off. The Council thought they were dealing with a primitive species that would roll over at the first sign of superior force. Instead, they were about to face the most formidable fleet ever assembled in the galaxy. "Message from Admiral Walker," the comm officer announced. "Operation Phoenix is now active. We are cleared to proceed with Phase 1. Captain Stone straightened in her chair. "Send to all ships. Break stealth on my mark. Let's show the Council exactly what humanity can do when pushed into a corner." As the countdown began, she thought about how the galaxy was about to change forever. The Council had issued their ultimatum, expecting submission. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, and the response would shake the foundations of their power. The Council's main chamber buzzed with satisfaction as they watched the transmission from Earth. On their huge viewing screen, Earth's public representative, wearing an appropriately fearful expression, asked for more time to consider their demands. "See how they tremble," rumbled the high speaker, his massive form towering over the other Council members. Like all primitive species, they know their place when faced with true power. None of the council members noticed the small smile on the face of observer Jack Miller, Earth's official representative to the council. He sat quietly in his corner, watching the mighty aliens congratulate themselves on their successful intimidation of his species. Back on Earth, Admiral Walker was implementing the final stages of Operation Phoenix. In underground bunkers, hidden bases, and secret facilities across the solar system, humanity's real military might was awakening. Status report. Walker commanded, standing in Earth's true military command center, buried deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. Ghost Protocol is fully activated, reported his tactical officer. All hidden defense platforms are powered up, but maintaining stealth mode. The Council's sensors still show only our decoy installations. Walker nodded, studying the massive holographic display, showing the positions of both Council and human forces. The Council fleet had pushed past Neptune, moving with the arrogant confidence of a force that expected no real resistance. "They're following the exact invasion route we predicted," noted General Thompson, pointing to the tactical display. "Their military thinking hasn't changed in 500 years. They don't even consider that we might have studied and countered their standard tactics." In space, Captain Stone's fleet remained hidden, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The Council ships passed within kilometers of human vessels without detecting them, their sensors unable to penetrate the advanced stealth technology. "All ships report ready." Stone's voice came through the command center speakers. "Council forces are entering the kill zone." Walker allowed himself a grim smile. "Send the signal to our allies." Throughout the Council fleet, sleeper agents from various alien species who had secretly sided with humanity began activating their hidden programs. Council ship shields flickered as carefully planted viruses came to life. Navigation systems suddenly showed ghost readings. Communication channels filled with static. "Council forces are reporting technical difficulties," reported the tactical officer, trying to hide his grin. "Their fleet formation is becoming disorganized. Now we show them what humanity's really capable of," Walker said quietly. He pressed a button on his command console. "All forces, execute Ghost Protocol. Captain Stone, you have permission to engage." Throughout the solar system, humanity's hidden strength revealed itself. Asteroid bases that had appeared to be mining operations opened to release swarms of advanced fighters. Orbital platforms that had looked like communication relays powered up weapon systems that the Council had never seen before. Quantum shields flickered to life around Earth's major cities, far more advanced than the primitive defenses the Council expected. "Send our response to their ultimatum," Walker ordered. On the Council's main viewing screen, the fearful Earth representative was replaced by Admiral Walker himself. His uniform was crisp, his expression confident. "To the Galactic Council," he began, his voice firm. "Humanity has considered your generous offer to submit to your authority. Our response is simple: no." The Council chamber erupted in shocked murmurs as their sensors suddenly came alive with thousands of new contacts. Hidden human ships appeared everywhere, their stealth systems dropping to reveal vessels more advanced than anything the Council had expected. "You thought we would bow down before your threats," Walker continued. "You thought we would surrender our independence without a fight. You thought wrong. Humanity doesn't accept ultimatums. We never have, and we never will." The Council members watched in growing horror as their invasion fleet found itself surrounded by human warships that seemed to appear from nowhere. Their carefully planned show of force had turned into a potential disaster. "Let us show you," Walker concluded, "exactly why threatening humanity was the biggest mistake your Council has ever made." As the transmission ended, the galaxy's balance of power began to shift. The Council's ultimatum had awakened not a cowering primitive species, but a sleeping giant ready to reshape the galactic order. Captain Stone watched the Council fleet through the Terran Dawn's advanced sensors. The alien ships were impressive. Each capital ship was nearly 3 times the size of her vessel. Their golden hulls gleamed in the distant sunlight, covered in heavy armor and bristling with weapon ports. In any normal battle, such a fleet would be overwhelming. But this wasn't going to be a normal battle. All ships, execute attack pattern Delta, Stone commanded. Remember your training. Let's show them what humans can do. The human fleet moved with perfect coordination. Instead of meeting the Council forces head-on as expected, the smaller human ships split into precise formations. They weaved between the massive Council vessels with incredible speed and agility, their quantum drives allowing them to move in ways the aliens had never seen before. "They're trying to lock their weapons," reported Richards from his tactical station. "Their targeting systems can't keep up with our movement patterns." Stone nodded. The Council relied on huge energy weapons that could tear a ship apart, if they could hit it. But humanity had studied their weapons for years and developed countermeasures. "Launch fighter squadrons," she ordered. The Terran Dawn's launch bays opened, releasing swarms of small, incredibly fast ships. Each fighter was piloted by a human who had trained specifically to exploit the weaknesses in Council ship design. The Council fleet's formation began to break apart as they tried to deal with threats coming from all directions. Their commanders had never faced an enemy that refused to fight according to the traditional rules of space combat. "Sir, the Council flagship is signaling," called out the communications officer. "They're demanding our surrender." Stone allowed herself a small laugh. "Send no response. All ships, begin Phase 2. Across the battlefield, human ships activated their secret weapons. Quantum disruptors fired invisible beams that interfered with the Council ship's shield systems. Virus pods attached to enemy hulls, releasing programs that began shutting down their advanced targeting computers. "Council ships are reporting multiple system failures," Richards reported with satisfaction. "Their formations are completely broken." The massive Council vessels tried to regroup, but the human ships were everywhere. Fighters slipped through gaps in their defenses, targeting crucial systems with surgical precision. Larger human warships used their superior maneuverability to stay in the Council ships' blind spots. "Enemy flagship is attempting to coordinate their forces," reported the sensor officer. "They're switching to backup systems." "Time to show them our main surprise," Stone said. "All ships, activate the Jenkins pulse." Throughout the human fleet, special devices powered up. Dr. Jenkins' greatest invention wasn't just a better drive system. It was a way to manipulate space itself. The devices created localized distortions in spacetime, making the human ships appear to be in multiple places at once. The Council fleet sensors went crazy trying to track targets that seemed to exist in several locations simultaneously. Their carefully programmed combat computers couldn't handle the impossible readings they were receiving. "Council ships are firing randomly," Richards reported. "They're hitting their own vessels." Stone watched as the mighty Council fleet fell into chaos. Ships designed to fight in rigid formations found themselves unable to coordinate. Weapons built to destroy anything they hit proved useless against targets they couldn't properly track. "Message from Earth Command," announced the communications officer. "Admiral Walker says to finish this. All ships, execute final attack pattern." Stone ordered, "Target their engines and weapons only. We want to defeat them, not destroy them." The human fleet moved in perfect synchronization, decades of secret training paying off. Precision strikes disabled the Council ships one by one, leaving them floating helplessly in space. Within an hour, the entire Council fleet, the force sent to make humanity submit, was effectively neutralized. Not a single human ship had been lost. "Send to Earth Command," Stone said, looking at the defeated Council vessels on her screen. "First phase complete. The Council's peacekeeping force has been pacified. Minimal casualties on both sides." As her crew began securing the disabled Council ships, Stone thought about how this was just the beginning. The Council would soon learn that their ultimatum hadn't cowed humanity. It had unleashed them. The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council had never been so chaotic. Representatives from dozens of species shouted and argued as reports of the human victory spread through the galaxy. The massive Golden Hall, usually a place of order and ceremony, had turned into a scene of panic and accusations. "How is this possible?" thundered the High Speaker, his voice barely maintaining control. "How could primitives defeat our finest ships?" Lieutenant Mark Thompson stood quietly in his corner of the chamber, watching the chaos unfold. As Earth's new military liaison to the Council, he found it interesting how quickly the mighty could fall. The Council members who had looked down on humans just days ago now cast nervous glances his way. "The Blue Star Empire withdraws from the Council's military alliance," announced the blue-skinned ambassador from one of the older spacefaring races. "We will not support this foolish war against humanity." More announcements followed. One by one, member species began breaking away from the Council's united front. Some openly praised humanity's ingenuity. Others simply wanted to avoid being on the losing side. "We have received transmissions from the defeated fleet," reported a Council aide, his voice shaking. "The humans disabled our ships without destroying them. They even helped with emergency repairs afterward." This news caused even more confusion. The Council species had expected humanity to be savage and merciless. Instead, they had shown both superior strength and remarkable restraint. Thompson stepped forward. His time had come. "The Council chamber recognizes Earth's representative," announced the system, almost reluctantly. "Members of the Council," Thompson began, his voice clear and confident. "Humanity did not want this conflict. We would have been happy to continue peaceful trade and cultural exchange. It was your ultimatum that forced our hand." The chamber fell silent, listening to his words. Even the High Speaker, who had been so dismissive of humans before, paid attention. "But it's not too late to change course," Thompson continued. "Earth offers peace to any species willing to recognize our independence and right to self-determination. We also offer alliance to those who wish to help build a more equal galaxy." The effect was immediate. Several species that had been neutral now spoke up in support of Earth. Others began diplomatic talks among themselves, forming new alliances independent of the Council's control. In a private chamber off the main hall, Thompson met with representatives from 15 different species. These were the ones who had secretly helped humanity prepare, who had seen the Council's corruption and wanted change. "Your performance was impressive," said the ambassador from the Trading Worlds, a group of planets that had long chafed under Council rules. "Your ships, your tactics, they were beyond anything we expected." "Humanity has always been good at surprising people," Thompson replied with a smile. "But we didn't do it alone. Your help was invaluable." Just then, news arrived from the front lines. More Council attack fleets had been defeated by human forces. The mighty Council military, unchallenged for centuries, was crumbling in the face of human innovation and determination. The High Speaker and his inner circle knew this would happen, revealed an aide from one of the older Council races. "They saw humanity's potential years ago. That's why they pushed for the ultimatum. They wanted to crush Earth before it grew too strong." Thompson nodded. Human intelligence had suspected as much. "They made a serious mistake," he said. "They thought they were dealing with just another primitive species. Instead, they forced humanity to reveal its true strength." As the day continued, more species pledged their support to Earth. The Council's power base, built over centuries of domination, was falling apart in a matter of days. "Send word to Admiral Walker," Thompson instructed his staff. "Tell him Phase 3 can begin. The Council is fracturing exactly as we predicted." The political earthquake spreading through the galaxy was just as important as the military victory. The Council's ultimatum hadn't just failed to subjugate humanity. It had started a chain reaction that would reshape galactic civilization forever. Admiral Walker stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship Freedom, looking at the massive fleet assembled before him. Human ships flew in formation alongside vessels from 24 alien species that had broken away from the Council. Their combined fleet stretched as far as the eye could see, preparing for the final attack on the Council's home system. "All ships report ready." Captain Stone's voice came through the command channel. The Terran Dawn had been chosen to lead the main assault group. Our new allies are in position. The Council has gathered everything they have left for this defense, reported General Thompson from his tactical station. Over 300 capital ships, plus support vessels. They're desperate. Walker nodded, studying the battlefield display. The Council's remaining forces had fortified their home system with everything they had. Massive defense platforms orbited their capital world, while their remaining fleets formed layers of defensive lines. They still think like empire builders, Walker observed. All their defenses are designed to stop a traditional assault. Begin Operation Checkmate. The combined fleet split into smaller groups, each executing precise maneuvers that looked chaotic but followed a carefully planned pattern. Walker's strategy, developed over years of studying Council tactics, was about to be put to its final test. Council ships are responding exactly as predicted, Stone reported. They're strengthening their forward defenses, expecting a direct attack. Launch Phase 1. Walker commanded. Small, fast ships darted forward from the human fleet. They looked like scout vessels, the kind that would typically probe enemy defenses. The Council fleet responded by launching fighters to intercept them. They took the bait, Thompson announced. Their fighter screen is moving out of position. That was when the scout ships revealed their true purpose. Each one carried a quantum field generator, Dr. Jenkins' latest invention. When activated, the devices created a web of spatial distortions throughout the battlefield. Council ships are reporting navigation problems, reported the sensor officer. Their targeting systems are completely confused by the quantum field. Walker allowed himself a small smile. Begin Phase 2. The real attack began. Capital ships from Earth and their allies pushed forward, using the quantum distortions to their advantage. Human crews, trained to fight in these conditions, struck with deadly precision, while Council ships struggled to maintain formation. Their first defense line is breaking, Stone called out, moving to engage their platforms. The orbital defense platforms were the Council's pride, massive weapons that could destroy whole fleets. But they had one weakness. They were designed to hit large, slow-moving targets. Launch the fighter wings, Walker ordered. Thousands of small, agile fighters poured from the Allied fleet's hangars. They weaved through the quantum distortions, too fast and too small for the platforms to track effectively. Each fighter carried special warheads designed to overload the platform's shield systems. Defense platforms are going dark, Thompson reported with satisfaction. Their whole command and control network is falling apart. The Council fleet tried to adapt, but centuries of fighting the same way had left them unable to handle humanity's innovative tactics. Their ships, designed for power and intimidation, couldn't match the flexibility of the human-led force. Their flagship is attempting to coordinate a counterattack, reported the communications officer. Time for the final stroke, Walker said. Captain Stone, you have permission to use the Jenkins wave. The Terran Dawn moved into position, powering up its special weapon. The Jenkins wave was humanity's greatest secret, a device that could temporarily shut down any advanced technology within its range. A pulse of invisible energy spread across the battlefield. Council ships suddenly found their advanced systems shutting down, leaving only basic life support functioning. Their mighty fleet, once the terror of the galaxy, floated helplessly in space. Send the message, Walker ordered. The transmission was short. To the Galactic Council, your reign is over. Surrender, and we guarantee your people's safety and rights. Continue fighting, and we will be forced to demonstrate even more of humanity's capabilities. As the Council's response came in, a complete and unconditional surrender, Walker thought about how far humanity had come. The Council's ultimatum, meant to ensure human submission, had instead triggered their own downfall. The galaxy would never be the same again. 6 months after the final battle, the galaxy had changed more than anyone could have imagined. The Great Hall that once housed the Galactic Council now served as the meeting place for the new Galactic Alliance. Representatives from all spacefaring species, including many that had been ignored or suppressed by the old Council, sat as equals. Admiral Walker stood at the podium, Looking out at the assembled delegates, the human military uniform he wore now carried symbols of both Earth and the Alliance. Behind him, Captain Stone and Lieutenant Thompson sat alongside representatives from 24 species. 1 year ago, Walker began, the old council issued an ultimatum to Earth. They thought they were dealing with a primitive species that would bow to threats. Today, we gather to ensure such mistakes never happen again. The chamber was packed with delegates. Former council races sat beside species they had once looked down upon. Trade flourished between worlds that had never communicated before. The galaxy was experiencing a renaissance of cooperation and innovation. The Jenkins Drive is now available to all member worlds, Walker announced, along with other human technologies. In return, our allies share their knowledge with us. Together, we grow stronger. In orbit above the former council capital, ships from different species trained together. Human tactical innovations were combined with alien technologies, creating new and better ways of doing things. The rigid military doctrine of the old council had been replaced by flexible, innovative strategies. Furthermore, Walker continued, the Alliance Science Council reports breakthrough developments in quantum communications, thanks to the combined work of human and alien scientists. Captain Stone, sitting in the audience, smiled as she remembered the battles that had led to this moment. The Terran Dawn, once humanity's secret weapon, now served as a training vessel where crews from different species learned from each other. But our greatest achievement, Walker said, his voice carrying through the chamber, isn't our military victory or technological advancement. It's the proof that different species can work together as equals, each contributing their unique strengths. In the gardens outside the Alliance headquarters, children from various species played together in the artificial environment that accommodated all their needs. Young humans taught alien children their games, while learning strange and wonderful games in return. The old council fell because they forgot a fundamental truth. Walker continued, true strength comes from diversity, from learning and growing together. They saw differences as weaknesses to be controlled. We see them as strengths to be celebrated. Lieutenant Thompson, now head of Alliance Diplomatic Corps, nodded in agreement. His work building bridges between species had shown him how much they could all learn from each other. The Alliance was stronger than the Council had ever been, precisely because it embraced diversity rather than demanding conformity. Earth did not fight to replace the Council's dominion with our own, Walker declared. We fought for the right of all species to develop in their own way, to contribute their unique perspectives to our galactic civilization. Some former council members had initially resisted the changes, clinging to their old beliefs about human primitiveness. But seeing Earth freely share its advanced technology, watching humans work to help even their former enemies, had changed their minds. Today, we look to the future, Walker concluded. There are still unexplored regions of space, unsolved scientific mysteries, and new species waiting to be discovered. But this time, we go forward together, as equals. The chamber erupted in applause. The galaxy had entered a new age. The Council's ultimatum, intended to subjugate humanity, had instead sparked a revolution that benefited everyone. As the ceremony ended, Walker looked out at the stars through the chamber's transparent dome. Somewhere out there, new challenges waited. But whatever came next, the united species of the galaxy would face it together. The Council's ultimatum had tried to force humanity to submit. Instead, it had led to the greatest advancement in galactic history, not through conquest or domination, but through cooperation, innovation, and mutual respect. The age of the Council was over. The age of the Alliance had begun.